Imagine yourself living in the world of nowhere, the peculiar town where Courage, the cowardly dog, and his owners, Muriel and Eustace Bagg, reside. Nowhere was a place like no other, where the bizarre and the eerie were everyday occurrences. The old farmhouse, surrounded by desolate fields and ominous forests, seemed to be a magnet for all sorts of supernatural phenomena. One particularly chilly evening, as the wind howled through the cracks of the decrepit house, Muriel was busy knitting by the fireplace, while Eustace snored loudly in his armchair. Courage, ever vigilant despite his fearful disposition, kept a watchful eye on his family, ready to spring into action at the slightest sign of trouble. Suddenly, a mysterious knock echoed through the house, sending shivers down Courage's spine. Muriel glanced up from her knitting, her eyes wide with surprise. Who could that be at this hour? She wondered aloud, setting her needles aside. Eustace grumbled in his sleep, seemingly undisturbed by the disturbance. Courage hesitated, his heart pounding in his chest, but his loyalty to his family overcame his fear. With cautious steps, he made his way to the front door, his senses on high alert. As Courage reached the door, the knocking grew more urgent, accompanied by an eerie whisper that seemed to emanate from the darkness beyond. Summoning all his courage, Courage mustered the strength to grasp the doorknob and slowly pull the door open. To his surprise, standing before him was not a menacing monster or a ghostly apparition, but a small, shivering kitten. Its fur was matted and dirty, and its emerald eyes were filled with desperation. "Meow," it whimpered softly, its voice barely audible over the howling wind. Courage's initial fear melted away as he gazed upon the tiny creature, his compassionate nature overcoming his instinctive dread. Without hesitation, he scooped up the kitten in his arms, cradling it close to his chest. Back in the warmth of the living room, Muriel and Eustace were startled by Courage's sudden appearance, accompanied by the mewling kitten. "Oh my goodness! Where did you find this poor thing, Courage?" Muriel exclaimed, rushing over to inspect the newcomer. Eustace grunted disinterestedly, but even he couldn't deny the pitiful state of the kitten. "Bah, just what we need, another mouth to feed," he grumbled, though there was a hint of concern in his voice. Ignoring Eustace's complaints, Muriel set to work caring for the kitten, gently cleaning its fur and offering it a saucer of warm milk. Courage watched anxiously, relieved to see the tiny creature begin to perk up under Muriel's tender care. As the night wore on, Courage couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more to the kitten's arrival than met the eye. Little did he know, this seemingly innocent encounter was just the beginning of a series of strange and unsettling events that would soon engulf the town of Nowhere in chaos and danger. Days passed, and the kitten, now named Whiskers by Muriel, quickly settled into life at the farmhouse. Courage found himself growing fond of the playful little feline, enjoying the company of a companion who was equally curious about the strange occurrences in Nowhere. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and shadows crept across the fields, Courage and Whiskers ventured outside for their nightly patrol. The air was thick with an eerie stillness, broken only by the distant howls of unseen creatures. As they made their rounds, Courage couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. He scanned the darkness, his senses on high alert, but could detect nothing out of the ordinary. Whiskers, however, seemed unperturbed, darting here and there with boundless energy. Suddenly, a rustling in the bushes caught Courage's attention. He tensed, his muscles coiled in anticipation, ready to defend his newfound friend from whatever lurked in the shadows. But instead of a menacing figure, a small figure emerged from the undergrowth. It was a rabbit, its fur ruffled and its eyes wide with fear. "Please, you have to help me," it cried, hopping frantically towards Courage and Whiskers. Courage's heart went out to the frightened creature, and he quickly moved to comfort it. "What's wrong? "What happened?" he asked, his voice gentle and reassuring. The rabbit took a moment to catch its breath before replying. "It's the forest. Something evil has taken hold of it. Creatures, twisted and monstrous, roam its depths, terrorizing any who dare to venture near." Courage's blood ran cold at the rabbit's words. He knew all too well the dangers that lurked in the darkness of the forest, but he also knew that he couldn't turn a blind eye to those in need. With a determined nod, he turned to Whiskers. "We have to do something," he said firmly, his resolve unwavering. Whiskers, though smaller and less experienced than Courage, met his gaze with unwavering determination. "I'm with you, Courage. We'll face this together," she declared, her voice filled with a fierce determination that belied her size. With their newfound courage bolstering their spirits, Courage and Whiskers set off towards the forest, their hearts filled with determination and their minds set on the task ahead. Little did they know, the darkness that awaited them held secrets far more sinister than they could have ever imagined. The sounds of the forest were unnervingly quiet, save for the occasional rustle of leaves or distant howl of some unseen creature. Courage's instincts screamed at him to turn back, to flee from the encroaching darkness. But he pushed those fears aside, knowing that they had a mission to fulfill. Suddenly, a bone-chilling wail echoed through the trees, sending a shiver down Courage's spine. Whiskers pressed closer to him, her fur bristling with fear, but she refused to back down. "We can't let fear control us, Courage," she whispered, her voice trembling but determined. With renewed resolve, Courage nodded, steeling himself for whatever horrors lay ahead. As they pressed deeper into the heart of the forest, they came upon a clearing bathed in an eerie blue light. At its center stood a towering figure, its form obscured by shadows and its eyes glowing with malevolent intent. Courage felt a chill run down his spine as he gazed upon the creature before them. It was like nothing he had ever seen before, a twisted amalgamation of nightmares given form. But despite the fear gnawing at his insides, he refused to back down. "We have to stop it," he said, his voice firm and unwavering. Whiskers nodded in agreement, her eyes blazing with determination. With a deep breath, Courage stepped forward, ready to confront the creature head-on. But before he could make a move, the creature unleashed a wave of dark energy, sending Courage and Whiskers sprawling to the ground. As Courage struggled to regain his footing, he felt a surge of doubt wash over him. How could he, a simple dog, hope to defeat such a powerful foe? But then he remembered the words of his owners, Muriel and Eustace, who had always taught him to never give up in the face of adversity. Drawing strength from their memory, Courage pushed himself to his feet, his eyes blazing with determination. "We may be small, but together we're strong," he said, turning to Whiskers with a determined grin. With a shared nod, Courage and Whiskers launched themselves at the creature, their combined strength and determination proving to be more than a match for the darkness that threatened to engulf them. With each blow they struck, the creature's form began to waver, its power weakening with every passing moment. Finally, with one last mighty effort, Courage and Whiskers unleashed a final, decisive blow, banishing the darkness from the forest once and for all. As the light returned to the clearing, Courage and Whiskers shared a triumphant grin, knowing that they had saved the forest from certain doom. But their adventure was far from over, for even as they emerged victorious, they knew that new challenges awaited them on the horizon. With their newfound courage and determination, Courage and Whiskers set off into the unknown, ready to face whatever dangers lay ahead. As Courage and Whiskers emerged from the depths of the forest, they were greeted by the warm glow of the rising sun, its rays chasing away the lingering shadows of the night. Though physically exhausted from their harrowing ordeal, Their spirits soared with the knowledge that they had triumphed over the darkness that had threatened to consume the forest. Eustace, ever the skeptic, grumbled something about making a fuss over a couple of mutts. But even he couldn't hide the hint of admiration in his voice. With Muriel's encouragement, they set out to investigate the mysterious disappearances, determined to uncover the truth behind the strange occurrences plaguing their town. Their search led them to the outskirts of nowhere, where they stumbled upon a hidden cave nestled deep within the rocky cliffs. As they cautiously made their way inside, they were met with a sight that filled them with dread. Lurking within the shadows of the cave was a monstrous creature, its eyes gleaming with hunger as it feasted upon the stolen livestock. Courage and Whiskers knew that they had stumbled upon the source of the disappearances, but they also knew that confronting the creature would not be an easy task. Summoning all their courage, they launched themselves at the creature, their determination unyielding in the face of danger. Though the creature fought fiercely, Courage and Whiskers refused to back down, their strength bolstered by their unwavering belief in their cause. With a final desperate effort, Courage and Whiskers managed to overpower the creature, sending it tumbling back into the depths of the cave. As the dust settled and the echoes of their battle faded away, Courage and Whiskers shared a triumphant grin, knowing that they had once again saved their town from certain doom. But even as they celebrated their victory, they knew that their adventures were far from over. With each new challenge they faced, Courage and Whiskers grew stronger. Their bond forged in the fires of adversity, and though the road ahead would be fraught with danger and uncertainty, they knew that as long as they stood together, they could overcome any obstacle that stood in their way.